The Debt Management Office, DMO, has issued a warning to the federal government against additional borrowing, citing that 73.5% of this year's revenue will be used to service debt. According to the fresh recommendation by the DMO to Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led government, this high debt service to revenue ratio is unsustainable and poses a threat to debt sustainability. The DMO recommended that the federal government focus on increasing revenue generation to achieve a sustainable debt service to revenue ratio. The DMO called for a focus on revenue mobilization initiatives and reforms to increase the country's tax revenue to GDP ratio. And to have the discussion with us is Mr. Matthew Oluko. He is a public affairs analyst and is joining us right about now via phone call. Thank you so much, Mr. Matthew, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being on your program.
All right. Now, talk to us about what you think on the warning coming from the Debt Management Office as regards debt.
Once again, thank you for having me. I think it's a way of trying to make the government be proactive in their policies and decision making, because it is very clear that Nigerian economy is already in a precarious situation as a result of the borrowing of the previous government. A situation where in this 2023 is estimated that Nigerian government will be using about 73.5% of its revenue to service debt. So you cannot help but try to improve on your revenue. And in doing that, just as the Debt Management Office emphasized, what they actually need to do. Because ab initio, their projection was to generate about 10.49 trillion this year. So advising them to try to improve on the generation to about 15.5 trillion, I think is the way to go. Then again, the government on its own, I think they are aware of the situation, because having removed fuel subsidy from the beginning, it goes to show that they are not ready to spend as the previous government was spending money on subsidy. But I hope and believe that the money that will be freed as a result of subsidy removal will be channeled into infrastructural development. And according to part of the advice, they are equally encouraging the government to look into involving public-private partnership as a way of taking government responsibility, part of it shifting to private entrepreneurs. Now, it's another thing to have that policy direction. It's another thing to have enabling laws that encourage people to come and invest in your economy. Not only that, as we speak, we have a situation where foreign airline operators are always threatening to embark on strike, and this is not far-fetched, because they complain that they are not able to repatriate their earnings back to their country. So even as we try to encourage private partnership, and you try to woo investors, whether foreign or local, especially if it is foreign, your laws should be able to guarantee their safety. Safety in terms of safety of life and property, because no company, no individual, no foreign investor want to come and invest in an economy where your investment is not secured. So in that regard, even as government is looking towards wooing investors into the economy to come and participate to help us boost our GDP, it is still good that the government address the issue of insecurity. I think to a large extent, we have not been witnessing or hearing of killings or in the north that has to do with terrorism. But I think the government should increase their action towards eradicating or minimizing the activity of terrorism. So politically speaking, I think the right way to go is to improve on our revenue generation.
Now, speaking on improvement of revenue generation, what are those areas that that you can profile to the government in revenue generation, aside from taxing the people?
I think it's abundantly clear. Government need to diversify our economy because modern economy have never helped us in any way. If you understand what is happening currently, the oil and gas sector generates about up to 80% of our foreign earning. I think that best explains the reason we are finding difficulty in meeting our foreign obligation. So I think, and world over, an economy that is more sustainable is the one that is built on agriculture. I think more focus should be given to agriculture in terms of diversification. I'm not saying other areas should not be given priority attention, because when you diversify to agriculture, you have some areas that can have immediate intervention, like the cultivation of grains. Within a space of 6 months, you already having your product. Don't forget that when we had the crisis in Ukraine, Nigeria had a fair share of the hardship occasioned by having difficulty in accessing grain. And these are things you can grow locally. How can you explain a situation where we have good arable land in this country and we're importing flour? We can grow with here locally, cultivate with locally, and get our flour here. So what I'm saying in essence is we should equally focus on production. And most areas where you need raw material from these agri products, I think that is area we should target in terms of our production, so that you are sourcing your raw material locally. You have a way of keeping your forest within your country instead of spending your forest outside the country trying to import raw material. So I think the major key areas is, one, to answer your question directly, diversify into agriculture, improve on our production sector, and the third area is tap into our solid mineral, especially those areas that government is not leveraging on so much. I'm talking about gold mining and all that, because at the point we have a report that even in Zamfara, we have foreigners come there, explore these solid minerals at the expense of federal government. So I think federal government should look inward and see how they can harness the opportunities that has to do with solid mineral. I think those are if you ask me, those are the major three areas I will ask the government to diversify into.
All right. So having said
improving on the revenue.
All right. Having said that, what other ways can government look into to reduce the cost of governance, since diversification is a way to go in order to generate more revenue and also be able to service our debt?
There are so many areas they can look at when it comes to cutting the cost of governance. The Oronsaye report is there. It has been gathered dust in the government shelf. I think they should dust it and look at areas where you have military agencies that are doing the same thing and try to bring them together as a way of cutting cost of governance. Another area is jumbo pay. We hear the senators, House of Rep members, even the president, the cabinet members, they take home. I think they should review it. I think that in that area, they should cut the cost of governance in that area. There are another area they should critically look into. I think that one needs an investigation to unravel what actually transpires in that area. And then the area of budget pardon. During the 8th Senate, we heard so much about budget pardon. And even in the 9th Senate, we heard about EFCC investigating issues that have to do with budget pardon and perhaps people who we influence by the project into the budget that may be existing before now. So I think they should look into that area as a way of ministries and agencies not duplicating projects in the budget. So there are so many areas to look at when it comes to cutting of cost of governance.